finally got to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. And it's at least better than the last one, but it's still not spectacular. Let's talk about why. When a single mom and her two kids arrive in a small town, they begin to discover the connection to the original Ghostbusters and the secret legacy their grandfather left behind. The movie kicks off with Egon, or at least it looks like Egon. We only see shadows and, it's inferred that's Egon. And he's basically killed by a ghost, but it's a very interesting opening to the Ghostbusters movie. But then the movie, after that fantastic start, which really sets the tone for the movie, it takes a massive nosedive, pacing-wise, timing-wise, and even just interest-wise, because the movie gets really boring then for about an hour, maybe even an hour and 15. The movie's 2 hours long, maybe 2 hours and 15 minutes, something along those lines. But an hour of the movie is just set up. It's here's these kids, here's their single mom, here's why they're moving house. And then slowly but surely they start finding, or at least the girl starts finding, pieces of Ghostbusters memorabilia almost. The movie goes to the great pains to be like, hey, remember this? Hey, remember that? Hey, here's a ghost trap, remember this? Here's the proton pack, here's the car. Even Dan Aykroyd, remember him? The movie goes to great pains to be like, Ghostbusters movie. Hey, this is a Ghostbusters movie. Remember Ghostbusters? That's basically what the first hour or so of the movie is. However, the movie does ramp up much better after the Stay Puft scene, where all the marshmallows come to life for some reason. I don't really know why the marshmallows all come to life, but they come to life. It's pretty funny, and the movie does get much, much better then. Once the ghosts actually come into the Ghostbusters movie, it definitely gets much more interesting. However, for the most part, I found myself throughout this movie picking up my phone. I kept losing attention. I kept getting pretty bored. That was until near the end, because it all starts coming together. We get similar to the original movie, gatekeeper, keymaster, but it's not till the very end, the end battle against, what was the bad person's name? Olivia Wilde played the bad person. She ripped J.K. Simmons in half. It was pretty cool, but it was also still PG-13. There was no blood or anything, but it was pretty gruesome for that type of movie. The ending is when the movie really comes together and where it leaves you going, wow. Because the end of this movie was spectacular. And I'm going to throw a spoiler alert because I need to talk about the ending. So if you haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife, purely based on how good the ending is, I would say go watch it. But now we're going to talk about the ending. So if you're still here and you haven't seen it, it's your own fault if you see the spoilers. So I'm just warning you now. So the ending comes along, the final battle. They try to set out the same trap that Egon was doing at the start of the movie, and it would have been really stupid if it worked, so of course it can't work, because they never at any point fixed it. And just when it looks like all is lost and they're going to fail, along come the original Ghostbusters for that big nostalgia hit. And the one thing that was very clear here from this little bit with Bill Murray is that Bill Murray is the one that makes the Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is fantastic, and the original casts are all great, but Bill Murray's humor in particular is what makes the Ghostbusters. And even his little cameo here and his little bit with Zool, it just completely refreshed the entire movie and added so much to it. Bill Murray is the cornerstone of Ghostbusters. I know he was in the all-female one, but he wasn't a Ghostbuster, he's just in the cameo role. In his role as Peter Venkman, Bill Murray is the Ghostbusters. But that's not where the amazing part of the ending comes, because all of a sudden, all the Ghostbusters are fighting, even the young girl, and then you see a hand on her hand, a ghost hand on her hand, and I thought that was going to be it. They're going to be suggesting, Harold Ramis, Egon, is helping her, and that's all we'd see. But slowly they pan up and they actually use a CGI Harold Ramis, which I didn't know about at all. I somehow stayed away from that spoiler completely. So, if I spoiled that for you, I did give a spoiler alert. I'm just saying, it's kind of your own fault. CGI bringing people back, like in Star Wars with Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, in The Mandalorian, got a little bit of criticism because it's not quite there. It's like 90% of the way being correct. But because he was a ghost, it kind of really, really worked well. And the fact that the Ghostbusters get to say goodbye to Egon, get to say goodbye to Harold Ramis in a proper way is truly sensational. And it really added so much to the movie. As I mentioned, I got bored with so much of the movie. A lot of the movie is just throwbacks to the original. And that's fine sometimes, but it was a little bit cheaply done throughout this movie. But that ending, I think just elevated the movie so, so much in my opinion. And it's possibly one of the best movie endings I've seen in the last year. So when it comes down to a rating out of 10 for Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Enjoyable in places, boring in places, but a fantastic ending really saves it. And at the end of the day, it's better than Ghostbusters Answer the Call, which is a 2016 version. And hey, we're even going to get Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 because they've clearly set it up in the post-credit sequences. So, you know, that's a thing that's happening whether you want it or not.